Hey there, my name's Niandra. On stream and in comments, people keep asking me about the hashtag rework Mercy movement, and I never had a good answer because I didn't really know much about it. So I took some time to look into hashtag rework Mercy. In conclusion, I respect the movement, but disagree with what a lot of the people involved are saying. Aria Rose and others repeatedly state, Mercy is balanced, that's not the point. A lot of people in the movement say that it's more about making Mercy fun than balance, which is fair. Do remember, a character affects more than just the people who play them. For example, Brigitte is very fun to play, but has made the game a nightmare for many around her. And fun is subjective. I've heard people say they think Mercy's still fun. I think she is. I don't know. I guess I just think it's a bit odd to make a movement around something that is subjective. Aria Rose is a plat player. She has been advocating for the average player to have a voice and criticised people like Unit Lost for focusing on pro player opinions that largely disagreed with the movement. What she's doing here is perfectly fine because everyone should have a voice. Hell, a plat player might be able to give better advice to someone in gold than a GM player because the meta in gold and plat is more similar. However, there are a few things Aria Rose has said or endorsed that we, as GM and Master players, look at and not necessarily agree with. As I dug around, it did sometimes feel like the rework Mercy movement was not interested in any sort of criticism. I know people can be toxic as hell towards Mercy mains, but you also don't want to accidentally create a messy, misinformed echo chamber. That being said, I don't mean to imply that pros or top 500 players are always right either. Here's a Twitter account called @RevertMercySays, and they keep posting these comparison images that I think are iffy. This one compares Dragon Strike and Mass Res. Hanzo hiding doesn't mean his team dies, and if Dragon fails then whatever. But if Mass Res fails, then Mercy let her team die for no reason, and in 2CP defense that could literally lead to a loss. I know the point they're trying to make is, why do DPS get ults that can kill multiple people, but an ult that brings them back is controversial, which is interesting thought to explore. You could argue against it by saying the game progresses by getting kills. Here is a tweet from Hoshi who states, at lower ranks, people don't know how to coordinate ults, they don't know how to position, so what exactly is a flying heal bot supposed to do? I thought this was interesting because the game only has two other main healers, one of which is highly aim based, so lower ranked players may struggle to get value out of them, and the other is Moira, who has little utility outside of healing. This is another common opinion I saw, and I hate this. It took me like 5 minutes to even realise what it was saying, and it's implying that Valkyrie is a spectator ult. Lately, I've been streaming some ult account competitive at high plat, and I've had a lot of weak or ineffective Valkyries. Guess what? They're almost always my own fault. Maybe I don't know where my teammates are, or I didn't track the fight well enough to know it was already over. On December 18th's ult account competitive stream, I won almost all of my matches, and here are some of my stats. I was really happy with how I played. The reason I'm showing this is because Valkyrie helped me achieve these high numbers. I've said repeatedly that Valkyrie can be used almost like a cooldown with how fast it charges now, and that's what I did. Many seem to consider Valkyrie the least impactful ultimate in the game. I personally disagree with this and actually love Valkyrie, but I get high value from damage boost which many Mercy players don't. It's one of the most common things I bring up in my VOD reviews. I also think calling Valkyrie the least impactful ult in the game is very unfair because of Orisa. Oh yeah, remember that character? Whose ult could be considered a non-mobile, less flexible, weaker Valkyrie? I'm not entirely sure main healers should have huge defensive ults. For off healers, the game currently has Lucio, Zenyatta and Brigitte, who can't really solo heal but have defensive ults. For main healers, we have Mercy, Ana and Moira. You can pair two main healers together, such as Mercy and Ana or Moira, and have insane healing output, but the trade-off is the team is left without a defensive ult. If the enemy team gets a good grab or shatter, you might just be fucked. If a main healer had a strong defensive ultimate, then pairing them with another main healer could end up being problematic. We don't want Overwatch to turn into a game where only one-hit kill or burst damage characters are viable because healing output is so high with no trade-off. Before Mercy was reworked, she had no E ability, and her ult was press Q once and be done with it. In my opinion, this is pretty simple character design, especially compared to one with an E ability that slows down the player for almost 2 seconds that they have to live through, and a 15-second ultimate where they can do 3 different things. And that's not even including the constant health regeneration and extended Guardian Angel distance. I do personally think reworked Mercy is more engaging and fun to play than the original. A lot of players hated mass res when it was in, but I personally defended it. My thought process was, if Mercy is hiding, her team is fighting a 5v6 without a main healer and more likely to lose in the first place. It's also strong against ult spam. You know, the enemy team uses 5 ults at once and wipes, and then Mercy punishes it by nullifying it all. Yeah, I do think having mechanics that punish ult spam is healthy for the game. If Mercy were to get her old ult back, I would want some sort of E ability too. So overall, I am pretty content with where Mercy is right now, but would be open to small changes, like healing being made 55. I do wish Blizzard had tried running the Ana buffs on their own first, to see if that had shifted pick rates around at all, then nerf Mercy if they didn't feel it was effective enough. To me, the recent buff to ult charge has been very noticeable. However, if Mercy does get changed, it won't be the end of the world for me because I love trying to figure new shit out. You know, theory craft how things will change and how to get the most value from it. Keep in mind, as Mercy mains, we're biased as hell, like, why wouldn't we want our favourite character to be buffed? We always want her to be meta. I guess what I'm trying to say is I would like the rework Mercy movement to acknowledge Mercy's extremely high pick rate from initial rework to healing nerf a bit more often. Anyway, let's wrap this up. If you are a fan of both me and Aria Rose, I hope this video didn't feel like an attack or anything. It's just, she is the main voice of the movement, therefore it is important to look at some of the things she says. Even though it's not really their job, I would love to see more people in the rework Mercy movement produce educational content. Stuff that says, hey, we want Mercy to be changed, but until that happens, here's how we can play better. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you disagree with me or think I'm wrong, that's perfectly fine, and as long as you can do it without calling me a cuck, I'm pretty happy to hear it. In fact, I'd actually love to look at some VODs from people in the rework Mercy movement and review them. Like, maybe we can end up feeling more happy with our Valkyries. Anyway, feel free to join my Discord and have a nice day.